Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives.
Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call, and just want to welcome everybody who's on the call, whether you're here live or if you're listening to the recording. Just excited to be here. And today I'm just feeling a lot of gratitude for the community that we have here on this gratitude call, those who listen to the podcast, those who are on our Breakthrough with Gratitude page, and even people who I mention that I do a daily gratitude call with. Everybody's just like, that's so great. I think that's a really great way to start the day. And there's just this community of people, I think, across the world that feel like gratitude is a really, really good thing to do on a daily basis. And it just kind of creates a bond, I think, between us. When we have common ground, it creates just a feeling of oneness, a feeling of friendship, I think. Just before we started the recording, there are two people that are on the call right now who are needing to move in the next little while, and neither one of them knows where they're going yet. And I felt that there was like this bond that was created just because they're both in the kind of the same situation. And just so you guys know, I'm going to be sharing your phone numbers with each other, so with both of you, so that you'll be able to connect if you'd like. So that's what I want to focus on today is gratitude for common ground. And I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds. We do a 90-second meditation at the very beginning and just focus on a particular subject, and we kind of create a sense of community, just in that. We're all focusing on the same thing for 90 seconds, and 90 seconds is scientifically proven that if you focus on something for 90 seconds, you start the wheels of creation in motion. So this is an opportunity for us to create more oneness and community and friendship and everything in the world by focusing on the same thing, this common ground, for 90 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer, and just grab your pen and paper. You're just going to write down whatever comes to you on gratitude for common ground. Begin. Still writing. Okay. I had a really interesting experience yesterday. One of my clients is a couple, and when we first started working together, our very first call, the wife said that she wasn't sure she wanted to be married again still. She thought that she might want to separate from her husband. And her husband, they were both on the call. It was, they were on speaker. We were all three together, and she was very open about sharing that. And I asked him how he felt, and he knew that she felt that way. They were still together, but I guess she'd been very open about not wanting to be with him. And I, as a mentor, am able to stay kind of in a neutral space and not make any kind of judgments or be affected, by the words that are said, because all I'm looking for is just the highest truth. I'm just helping them to, I don't give them any kind of guidance or, advice or anything like that about what they should or shouldn't do within their marriage. That's all between them and God. But what my part is to remain neutral and to be able to ask the kind of questions that will allow them to come to the highest truth for themselves. I don't even tell them what the highest truth is. I'm just asking questions. So, but yesterday they called me or the wife texted me in a panic, and she was just like, I just can't, stay married anymore, basically. And so I thought, well, this is not a scheduled call, but I should just touch base with them, just kind of see where they're at. And so I talked to him yesterday for about 20 minutes. And what I realized from hearing both of them talk is they both want the same thing. They both are looking for autonomy. They're both looking for, both of them each want to be a valuable individual on their own, separate from the other, and it's something that we all should have. Let's see, I sent him a text and I said, this is the new belief that I want you to repeat until our call today, which is today. Let's see, what is it? I am a separate individual, uniquely valuable on my own. That was created based on some of the things that they were saying. And basically both of them have some sort of a hole inside of them, something missing inside of them that they're trying to fill with the other person. And they're trying to repel the other person because they feel like they're relying too much on the other person. It's such a crazy thing that limiting beliefs do. Is, really what they need is to be separate and to be able to see the marriage as separate from them. I don't know. I could sit here and talk for 20 minutes and share with you, but they really are perfect for each other. We found some common ground yesterday that, for me anyway, I see the common ground, and so this helps me. This is a catalyst for me to be able to now help them find the highest truth for them as far as their marriage goes. So it's interesting that common ground can bring people together, but common ground can also push people apart if the common ground is based on fear and limiting beliefs. And I think about, like prejudices and things like that. People could come together and each have a prejudice against each other, and it could not bring people together. It could push them apart. So I think it's important for us to have common ground in truth and gratitude rather than in fear and, seeing the differences in each other. Who else would like to share?
I thought of the ground we all walk on is the same, though it may be in different places. It's all connected. So it is common ground. And so we all are connected through that common ground. And when we meet each other or meet together, when we're open to meeting people, there's always something. I think there's always something that's common ground with each person. And when we meet together as a group, like I was meeting with some women last night, we met together because we had a common there was common ground. And though we were all different, we all were able to, because we had that common ground, we were able to meet together and then get to know each other more and be more open to who the other one was. And then out of that, we realized, well, we have so much, in common. So those are my thoughts about connecting with others. And we all connect because of the ground we walk on and because we are all children of God.
Well, you're so right. Every single one of us does have that in common, don't we? Just living in the same place. We're all living on Earth, and also that we are part of the great human family. I love that. Knitting together in one cause and one purpose, and maybe it's just a committee to plan a meeting or something, but there's some cause or purpose that can bring people together. And you're right. Once we get together and we start talking, we can find what we always have more in common. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
I'll talk
I
for a moment.
Go ahead. Okay, Colleen, you start. Okay, Michael. Go, Michael.
I was thinking the first thought was common ground is like things attract. And so common ground is a starting place to bring people together and unite in something. And in arguments, when you find a common ground, it can actually bring a peaceful point or a peaceful resting. And when people come together in a common ground, they have a common purpose or a common goal that they're working for. And so it's another way of uniting people in a common cause is because they're all looking for the same outcome or the same goal. And so the common ground is the place that all of us are standing on. Even though we have different thoughts and ideas, we're all pointing in the same direction. And that's what a marriage is you're looking at a final point out there and you're working together towards it. So you're getting closer on common ground in order to achieve that goal.
That's awesome. The thought came to me that Christ is a great mediator because I know, if you have an argument, if you have somebody there that's a mediator, that mediator is to help them find common ground. Help find a solution. And then the next thing that came to me was that Christ is a great mediator, and if we have that focus on Christ, focus on the end result, then, regardless of the differences, we know that we have this one thing in common, this goal in common. Thank you. It is interesting what you're saying about bringing people together. Common ground brings people together, because that was one of the things that I mentioned to this couple. I said it's no wonder that you guys were attracted to each other, because you have the exact same need. You have the exact same, thing that you need to work out, the same lesson that you need to learn. So the law of attraction does just bring the exact perfect situations to us to help us to grow. Thanks, Michael. See, Colleen, I think you had something you wanted to share.
Well, I was just thinking how important perceptions are, and being able to look at it from a different perception. Even if you want the same things, the attributes of the other person can really enhance it if you are just open to changing your perception and your perspective a little bit, and just how you can shift into being in the other person's shoes. Like even people that want into this country, you can see their desires and what they want, things that we have, the opportunities, the abundance, but the core values is sometimes, open because they don't understand the perspective of the core value of the country, our Constitution, and how they can even adapt that into their country and make that, it's also people in power and their perception of losing something if they adapt something out, if they just look at the core values and change their perspective on how to get that. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm thinking, that common ground, we might be attracted to somebody because of common ground, but then sometimes when we get to know each other, either we find, like Mary said, we either find more things in common and like, oh, I want to be here. It just gains more evidence that, yeah, I've chosen, to be in this space and it's really good. Or, sometimes we notice that we find one piece of common ground, and then the more you get to know somebody, it's like, or a group, you might attach yourself to a group. I've had that happen before where I went to an event, and a 3-day event, and it was awesome. And then they had a 9-day event in Florida, and I thought, I loved this 3-day event, so I'm going to just love even more this 9-day event. I went to the 9-day event, and I was like, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I stayed the full time, but I seriously almost broke down at the end. On my drive to the airport in the taxi, I started crying, and I was like, I was so glad to be out of there, and I wanted nothing to do with that group after that. So, sometimes we can come together on common ground on the surface, but then as you dive a little bit deeper, you discover whether it's like, yes, this is even better, and I definitely want to be here. And like you said, getting down into the core values of the group, am I willing to change my perception and even jump in deeper? Or sometimes we jump in and we're like, nah, I'm out of here. I think there was one more person that wanted to share, and then we'll shift over to our permission process. Maybe not. All right, let's go ahead and shift over. I think we've had some really great realization that has come up. I've had lots of new ideas come up with what you guys have shared, so I'm really appreciating everything that has been shared. This is one of those places, one of those communities where we are on common ground in gratitude, and the deeper I go, the more happy I am to be here. So I'm super grateful for all of you. So everybody just go ahead and take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, I'm just going to invite you to maybe even see yourself as common ground with every person on this earth. As Mary was mentioning, common ground because we all live here on earth. We all have a home. And also that we are all children of God. So we have that in common as well. And throughout all of our differences, we can all come back to that. And I believe to some extent, pretty much all of us have really common goals, want the same things. We all want to be happy. We all want to ultimately, those of us who believe that there is life after death, we all ultimately want to have that space with back with our heavenly family, human family, everybody on the earth being happy together. One more deep breath. And just being in this space of common ground on the broader perspective, the heaven's perspective, what is the number one limiting belief coming up for you about being on common ground, about maybe just not even being on common ground? What is the number one limiting belief coming up for you about common ground? And as you look at that limiting belief, I invite you to examine the cost. If you live your life by this limiting belief, how is that going to affect your connection with people, the communities that you're part of, and being able to find common ground with people? How will this limiting belief affect all of that? And if you don't like that cost, if you decide that you'd like to change that limiting belief so you can choose a different outcome, then I invite you to give yourself permission to do that by saying yes.
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 All right. And then what are some new beliefs? What are some new beliefs that will allow you to be on common ground, to feel that community and to be a catalyst for bringing people together in common ground? What are some new beliefs that will take the place of your old limiting belief and allow a better outcome? And I'm going to invite you to read over that new belief and allow it to be more than just words. Bring that new belief into your very soul and know that because this feels really, really good to you, these words, and this is going to produce the outcome that you really, truly want. I'm going to invite you to bring those words in and to allow the words to be integrated into your very cells, into your soul, into your heart, into your body, so that you are now taking actions based on this new belief rather than the old limiting belief, that you're choosing fully into this new belief. And just breathe those words in. Feel that tingling sensation as they become part of you. And as you see yourself becoming this new belief, what is the number one most important thing that you can do today that will give you evidence that these new beliefs are really part of you, that this is who you are, that this is how you are taking action? And I invite you to make sure that this is not a logical choice, that you be open as you're integrating these new beliefs into your body and your soul and your mind and your heart, that you just ask that question: what is the most important thing that I can do today to help me become fully, to see on a physical level that I have become this person? And as you are just allowing those words to come to you and knowing what your next step is, I just invite you to step out in confidence, and as soon as this call is over, make the commitment that you will take action on this one thing. And if you only did one thing today, that this would be the thing. This is your number one priority. One more deep breath, big smile on your face. And I do want to share my new belief, and I'm also going to share my next step. This next step, when you receive these next steps, these one most important things that you can do, this is an inspired shortcut. If you will take action on this one thing, it will put you on a shortcut to becoming the person that you want to be, to creating space for you to be this person that you just wrote in your new belief. My new belief is, well, I'm going to tell you what my limiting belief was too, is my words separate people. Because I feel like as I talk about my mission and purpose, it's very Christian based, and so there's like a separation that's created. Those who are not Christian won't necessarily really resonate with my message, and so that was my limiting belief. My words separate. But truly, the new belief is my words bring people together in a community centered and grounded in Christ. And it's not absolutely true that there will be people who don't believe in Christ that won't hear me and want to participate. It is very possible that my words are the one thing that people need to bring them to Christ. So that old belief is totally not true, and I'm excited to implement this new belief. And the reason why I want to share my next step, my Inspired Shortcut, with you is because the next step that I received was to create a workshop, an online workshop, and I will probably do a live event as well. So I'll be letting you know about when that will be and when and what that'll be. So I wanted to share that. We are out of time, so I wish we could have everyone share, but I do invite you to go to the Breakthrough with Gratitude page and share there so that we can read about your inspired shortcuts and also what your limiting beliefs were and the new beliefs that you're choosing into and this person that you're becoming. Thank you all for being on the call today. This has been awesome, just finding common ground and also seeing how we can even create more togetherness, more oneness in our community and in the community of gratitude, and also, even in the greater community, just our whole, the whole human family. If any of you are struggling with this subject, or if there's anything that you feel like you need just a new perspective, you're welcome to contact me. Just go to AskWilene.com and you can schedule a 15-minute call with me on my calendar. So thank you all for being on the call today, and we will look forward to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileneBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.